Hello and welcome back to DR Sports. This is Post Game Live. I am your host, Nick J. Francis, and I'm joined here by a real, authentic Liverpool fan, my man Doyle. How you doing, brother? You good?
I'm all right, lad, yeah.
We're going to be discussing the 2-2 Arsenal-Liverpool draw. Fair to say we're both a little bit disappointed. I think you are probably more disappointed than me, and probably maybe that's warranted, actually.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, so we'll start from the start of the game, I guess. First 25 minutes, mate. Arsenal, exactly what I thought it was going to be. Intense, strong, on us. Don't let us turn, don't let us breathe. It was intense, mate. It was phenomenal from you. You managed the game so well for a period after the 2-0 as well. But the big turning point, and Laurie said it before, was Xhaka, mate. When Xhaka done that challenge and that got that Liverpool crowd going, it gave us something to sink our teeth into.
Yeah.
And we got that goal with Salah, which, don't get me wrong, is a bit of a lucky deflection, bounced off Gabriel Jesus and Gabriel, the defender. But still, that seemed to be the turning point for me, that tackle.
For sure. And the frustration for me is that we've been here and we've seen this before. We saw this last time we were playing okay. I think we were drawing at the time when Mikel Arteta went to Klopp. I remember watching it and thinking when they got into their bus stop on the touchline, and I remember watching it and saying, you do not do this at Anfield. Not with this crowd, not with this manager. The crowd are really, maybe when the crowd and the manager aren't quite as in sync, you can get away with that, but they are quite in sync, or they were at the time, and then the game just descended. We ended up getting popped pretty badly from there. So that would have been one of the things that they would have said before the game of, let's not rile this crowd up. First thing you have to do when you go to Anfield is try and silence the crowd. We silenced the crowd with 2 goals, 1 goal early. We scored against them early before. You know, we know how this goes. And the one thing we do not want to do is go and rile up this crowd. And it's Granit Xhaka again. And he's had such a great redemption story this season. It's so frustrating to see him kind of tarnish that, I suppose. And then, like you say, from there, the entire momentum of the game changes. And so we're both sitting here, like I say, a little bit frustrated because although I think Liverpool are probably the better team across the course of the game, it does feel like a bottle job, and we'll go to comments shortly, and I'm sure a lot of the comments will be saying bottle job and all that type of stuff because we were 2-0 up away from home. But yeah, I mean, what do you think about your team's performance? You guys have been struggling this season. You've had extreme highs and extreme lows with the 7-0 and that type of thing.
Tell me about it,
you know, where does your season go from here?
So there's nothing for us to play for, to be quite honest with you, which was why I was quite surprised that we were able to come back when we haven't seemed to be able to find that type of rhythm in the game. But it's because we haven't, I don't know if you've noticed, but our away form has been awful. And that's why I was so happy to see the Anfield crowd respond to that challenge, because it was our 12th man. That's what we usually do well. So this season, I don't know if you know this, in 2023, this half of the season, we've scored 13 goals and not conceded a single one until today.
Really?
That's what Liverpool are like, mate. We've been brilliant at home, so I didn't really think that you were going to come and get 2 goals straight away. Thought you might get 1, or would be a 1-1 type of situation. But I think I'm proud of the lads for turning it around the way they did. I'm gutted that Mo Salah didn't slot that penalty. But like you said, Liverpool, we're the better team, lad. We seem to find our groove in the way we have that intense football. But I don't think that was just down to us, if I'm quite honest with you. I think that was down to Arsenal nerves. Once we got that first goal, you could tell you lads were a bit like, wait, they could get something out of this game.
Yeah, there was a bit of nervousness. We almost felt like, did we score too early? 8 minutes in, there's a lot of time for them to grow into this game. And, you know, you talk about how connected Anfield and the fans are with the team. Every time there was a big challenge, we saw Darwin Núñez come off the bench and riling up the crowd. We saw it from Trent a couple of times, Henderson the same. And, you know, it makes it such a difficult place to go. The positive spin for me is that there are 2 grounds that we really struggle in. You know, we struggle at the Etihad, or 2 teams we struggle against, both home and away, and it's you guys and Man City. And so to go there and get a draw, you know, we've seen our Arsenal team going through the levels and through the gears this season. To go away and get a draw before the game, most fans probably would have taken that, to be honest with you. Certainly at the beginning of the season. Obviously, I know Liverpool have been struggling a bit, so maybe there's more confidence into going and taking 3 points. But it's not a complete defeat, but it definitely is just, I think frustration is the word. You know, we had the early one with Gabriel Jesus in the first half where Saka's hit it to the back post and it's almost an open goal, can't quite convert it. And then the penalty, you know, what are your thoughts on some of the, not just the penalty, but some of the officiating across the game? Because I saw a bunch of inconsistencies.
I mean, I think we all seen the thing on Robbo, right, with the linesman.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, mate. I really don't. He elbowed him. Literally.
Yeah.
I think that yellow card should be rescinded from Robbo. Like, it's the officiating, you got a few bad decisions, but to be honest with you, I usually expect it from Premier League referees, and I usually expect it in big games like this.
Yeah.
They are people at the end of the day, and I guess if it was me being a referee, I'd probably make some wrong decisions as well. I think they've done the best they could with it. The penalty incident, it was one of them. It could have went either way. It was, for me, it was a solid pen because I'm a Liverpool fan. He got some contact on him, but it was from behind, and he probably could have stayed up, and it was just.
He's facing away from the goal. It's not a goal-scoring opportunity.
Yeah.
It's very, very soft. But
it's one of them.
Yeah, and it's that type of officiating that leads to, you know, Harry Kane going down in dramatic fashion when his face is touched and little things like that. Because you do have to. A lot of people were saying to me, you know, your team bought a lot of the fouls, Arsenal bought a lot of the fouls, but you kind of have to because you're in no, you know, you never know with the referees and stuff like that. I do think that yellow card should be rescinded.
I agree.
I think it's or if Robertson's going to get some sort of penalty and penalisation, I think so should the linesman, because it's extremely unprofessional. We've seen other people get into brush-ups with the officials, and as an official, you just ignore it and rise above it, put it in your report, and if it's a yellow, a red, a ban, whatever, that's fine, but you definitely don't react. So I think that was pretty poor.
The thing for me about officiating is, right, this is not, you're not playing competitively. These lads that are playing on the pitch, they want to win. They've got that competitive energy in their bones right now, so you can expect a little bit of wild behaviour, you know. It's not appropriate, don't agree with it. But linesmen, you don't have anything to play for, so I don't understand why there's this emotion in these decisions, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's almost like the fans sort of transfer their emotion to these referees and officiators, and it spills into the game and their decisions, because that was just a load of nonsense to me, to be quite honest with you. Like, if you look at the Matoma one, I know this isn't the Arsenal-Liverpool game, but that's the type of decision where he's trying to show them I've been fouled, and he has been fouled, and they're still not getting it right, so... there's no words that we can give to the referees right now. Them coming out and apologising, which means absolutely nothing, because I'm sure 3 points are much more valuable than someone saying sorry. What does that get me? Nout. So,
well, again, we had the similar one against Brentford, and they came out and apologised. But you know, we should be, you know. But there you go. So now we are, 6 points ahead of Manchester City. We play them this month. Later on this month, I think it's the 26th. We play them. And they've got a game in hand. So we now have to go there. And we now have to go there and definitely win.
You have to.
Even more than we needed to before. So, you know, when it is fine margins, you're going to get people complaining about this stuff. But
it's very difficult now for you guys. Like, honestly, like, don't get me wrong. I've seen how you play football this season, and it's been incredible. I really enjoyed actually watching you, to be honest with you. Odegaard, magnificent footballer. But the games that you've got coming out now, mate. Newcastle away. City away. And I know this is another one. Brighton away is not an easy game. Like, if I was an Arsenal fan right now, honestly, I'd feel exactly how you are feeling. This is going to be right down to the very last day. However, I think City will drop points, you know. I think we both will. You know, and today, I mean, depending on how you look at it, is it a point gained? Is it 2 points dropped? You know, we'll go on to that in a second. But and Chelsea away as well is a tough game, because they're playing terrible football, but they do have an unbelievable squad. They still have one of the better. How good their squad is. One of the best, and it's even more mad how terrible they are, considering how good the squad that they have is. Discombobulated quality, lad.
Exactly that. So yeah, I mean, you know, for you then, is it a point gained? Because Arsenal will come in. I know you've been off form. You're at home, but Arsenal have been the form team for almost all of the season. Do you feel like you've gained a point, or do you feel like you've dropped 2? I feel like we've dropped 2, just given the fact that we had so many chances. I think it was 21. How many shots was that? 21 shots. 21 a penalty missed, a goal line clearance at the end, a fantastic Ramsdale save off deflection. You've got to look at that game now as Liverpool. I think we could have won that, because we should have, to be quite honest with you. And I feel kind of the same. I feel that it's 2 points dropped because we were 2-0 up so early on, because of the Gabby Jesus miss, because of the fact that we've riled up the crowd ourselves. We've been our own worst nightmare. You know, one of my Liverpool mates, Jamie, messaged me and said that Xhaka was their best player today. You know, so it's really frustrating. But there you go. Let's go over to let's go over to the comments. Let's go over to some. I think we've got some super chats here, and get your super chats in, and then we can get them read out on the show. Anthony 1993 says, people saying bottlers are mid-table fans, still top. You know,
fair play.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's from an Arsenal fan. I'm an Arsenal fan myself, but I think that the worry that I have with the run of games we were just talking about is not just the football side. The football side of things I'm not too nervous about, but the actual mentality. It's can we not falter? That's what felt like faltered today. Not just the football, but letting the pressure get to people, letting bust-ups happen, those types of things.
Yeah.
We're going to have to be pretty much mentally perfect. It was Rob Holding that gave away the penalty, and he hasn't been bad since he's come. We were all worried about the Saliba injury. He's been pretty good. I think Ramsdale probably has to get man of the match overall, especially for that last 5 or 10 minutes. Would you concur with that?
Yeah, I think so. He saved you from losing that game.
100%. 100%. Should really be England's number one, but that's a different conversation.
I said that himself. I said, as a Liverpool fan, he should be England's number one. The amount of saves I've seen that fella do this season and last season, even when you finish fifth, were just incredible. He should be having a shot at starting in that England squad without a shadow of a doubt.
For sure. And he does have moments. I think that there were a couple players today. I think one of the frustrations for me is that we didn't play our best football, in my opinion. I think Odegaard has been class this season, but today he was very quiet.
Couldn't see him.
Physically, we were just not very competitive. We lost every first ball, which you'd expect. You're a big physical team, but then we lost every single second ball. And then we've got much better depth than we had before, but there's still another level of depth where you guys can bring Núñez off the bench and play like Thiago off the bench. We still need that type of, we brought Kivior off the bench and his first challenge was a foul. And then we brought Trossard off the bench, who just really struggled to get into this game. But these are things that are going to happen, and it's expected that this is going to happen. But, 8 games left. I really, really hope that would this be one of the best comeback stories
in our season? Probably, lads, to be quite honest. I mean, you saw about Arsenal?
If Arsenal could win the league, other than Leicester, this would probably be the second best comeback story I think there is. So
finishing fifth last season, it looked like you were nailed on for top 4, and then you just flapped it, and then come back this season with an insane mentality.
Yeah,
that's what champions do, lad. It's going to be difficult for you, but if we break down the game that we just played there, Martinelli, fantastic for me, lad. That first goal that he scored was fantastic, lad. I thought it was a Robbo own goal. Everyone did that first, right? But it wasn't. That's how lightning quick he is. That's his reactions. Second goal that he scored, who was it?
He got the cross for Gabby Jesus, got the header.
Too easy for you, that one, but still finished it nice and neatly in the box where he should be, getting a head on it. Fantastic. You had spells in that game which showed me you can get through it. And I said it to Robbie a few weeks ago. I was like, you don't need performances, you need 3 points. You need to get over the line. It's not about good performances.
Grind out results if we need to.
And you can do that in the last few games now running up, but you've got to be the very best of yourselves, because that game today was not the best of yourselves, but you still got something out of it. And let's I don't know if Arsenal fans know this stat, but you actually haven't beat Liverpool at Anfield for 12 years there, lads. So that, in my opinion, is a point game for you guys. You have just come there, show what you're about for the first 30 minutes, and then clung on to something. That's what mentality is. That's what champions do. It is.
And for you guys then, obviously you said you haven't got anything to play for necessarily. I think I asked you before, but where do you go from here? What do you hope to achieve? What's the furthest up the table that you think that you can go? If we look at the table now,
I think we're 8th or something, are we?
You are currently 8th. But, it's very, very close. One win and you could be up into top 6.
Yeah, and I guess as a Liverpool fan, the snobbery in me doesn't want to go into Europa League football, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, understood.
That cannot be a target for Liverpool Football Club.
I guess just off the back of where you guys have come from in recent years, right? Is that what it is? Because, you were in Europa League not too long ago.
I mean, and I agree with you, maybe 6 years ago we were in Europa League and we got to the final and we lost it. But for this last 5 years that we've been pushing the limits of the Premier League and pushing it. We've been in a Champions League final 3 times in the last 5 years. That's a fantastic achievement. So to see us in the Europa League is going to be a little bit of a humbler. I don't even know if I want it. It's one of them type of arguments where you think, do we want to just finish 9th, where we don't get any type of European football? We can just focus on the Premier League and we can focus on a rebuild as well in the summer, because that's what we need to do. We need to look at our midfield and our defence. Our defence, because we need to strengthen there, and we need to get some backups for the likes of Trent. We need to get some backups for the like of Matip, who's constantly injured. Kanate's got an injury spell in him as well, and we all seen our beloved Van Dijk. He didn't shower himself in glory today. We all know that. One of the goals was a fault for him. So I think Liverpool have just got to now look at where all these other teams are going in the direction and try and keep up with them, because if we don't do that, we are going to be very quickly left behind. Newcastle and Arsenal are now top 4 teams, cemented, done. Next season, they will be doing the same thing. So Liverpool have to re-strengthen.
How much of a worry is it about, not to make this an FSG conversation, this be a whole deep conversation, but the rebuild? People have narratives about Klopp rebuilding, and also the the board itself not necessarily freeing up the funds to get those players in. You know, how much of a worry is that?
So I don't know if this is delusional or this is me with wishful thinking. My thinking is they've been withdrawing from spending purposefully so that we can go for the likes of Jude Bellingham to spend big money in this summer transfer window. That's my hopeful brain. Whether or not that happens, we'll have to see. But they have put the money there in certain points. So when we were doing our first rebuild with Virgil van Dijk and Alisson, that was £150 million that they spent on 2 players. That's quite substantial. However, since then, they haven't really given us the funding that we need to re-strengthen the team, and that's why we fell behind. If you're looking at City, they went and bought a Haaland, which was fantastic, and we put all our money into Nunes, which didn't work out. And the good thing about Liverpool was, when we were first rebuilding, Salah was 36, Mane was 30, but they were literally starting, and as soon as they hit the ground running, they were going, lad. That was what they were. So Alisson the same, and Virgil van Dijk. Our signings haven't done that this time round. Diaz has been fantastic. He has, but he's never on the pitch. Nunes has took time to grow into it. So we just need to go into this summer transfer window now with FSG, believing that Klopp can rebuild, because I do think he can. I think he's got something to prove to himself. He's got something to prove to everybody else. And he needs to be backed. And I'm praying that they do. If they don't, mate, I don't know what we want with our owners. If they don't do this to keep us in there, you're just choosing to have no success, and that brings unhappiness with the fans, and I don't know how long you'll be with us if you continue to be like that. So this transfer window, in my opinion, is the making or breaking of how the fans relate to FSG, because it's not good right now, believe me, it's not good. And if it gets, and if this summer makes it worse, I don't think they can come back from it, to be honest with you, mate.
And if you go into your next game and there's a penalty,
oh, lads,
back-to-back penalty misses for Mo Salah, do you how long do you, not how long, it's only two penalty misses, he's still a top-class player, don't get me wrong, but do you give him that penalty? Do you trust him to go and give him that penalty?
Do you know what, mate, right? I love Mo Salah, who doesn't, but his penalties have never been great. He's always just hammered them. That's the way he's done it, and it will all go straight down the middle, and the second he tries to hit it either side, we've seen what's happened. For me, I know Firmino's not been great this season, he hasn't, but he's never missed a penalty. Why would you not put him on penalties? He's missed 1 or 2 in his career, but he's fantastic at them. For Monaco, he never missed a single one.
The problem that you have is you need a penalty taker who's going to be on the pitch for 80-90% of the game.
And that's true.
And Firmino doesn't play enough.
No.
So you've only really got whatever names you think are guaranteed starters on the team sheet. Saka takes our penalties largely because it's going to be between him or Odegaard or someone that's definitely in that starting 11, and Firmino unfortunately isn't. And he's quality when he comes on, but that he's going to go, and that's part of the rebuild we just spoke about. So, who else is there that you look at in your starting 11 and go, I absolutely trust him with the penalties?
There isn't, mate, to be quite honest with you. Even our beloved Trent, lad, I love him so much, and he's got a fantastic still ball on him, but I still don't think I could trust him to take a penalty. It's not just about your technique when it comes to these pressure moments, it's about how you compose yourself. Because if you've seen that penalty miss from Salah, if he just hits it either side lightly, it doesn't matter. It's going in. Cause
largely, if it's on target, pretty much.
Goal,
it's
lad.
In,
So I don't think I can trust anybody in that team to hit the penalty. Maybe Thiago. I'd say him. But you know what's a common theme, to be quite honest with you? I don't know if you've never noticed this. A lot of good football players, very good football players, are never good at penalties.
I think that's... I think that's true.
Messi doesn't take many penalties. He did for Argentina this World Cup because they got about 17 of them, but he missed one. Do you know what I mean? Like it happens to all of us. So I don't want to get on his back too much, because to be honest with you, the first penalty he missed last against Bournemouth, that was the first one he's ever missed. And I don't mean saved, I mean missed the target with. So I think he's going through a confidence thing. Next season, put them back on them, but for now I think we have to take them off him, lad, because he's missed 2 of them. Lad.
For us, I think that, like I said before, I think that this is huge mentally. I think that going to Anfield and not losing in spectacular fashion as we have in the past is still a step in the right direction. It might not feel like it, but if we set out at the beginning of the season and said, right, how do we want this season to play out? We would have wanted to be top 4, and we would have wanted to not be losing badly at the top 6 grounds. And that's what we've really stayed away from. We lost to City at our ground. We do have a chance to rectify that. I think if we can come through that City game, I think this game would have weirdly given us quite a lot of confidence for the Manchester City game, because it is progression. It will.
It was 4-0 last season, lad.
100%. And last 2 or 3 seasons, it's been similar. I think even going into next season when we play there again, we can start to dispel this, this fear that we have of playing at Anfield. You
need to do that at the Etihad as well. That's what you need to do.
Exactly that.
Scott, like I said, mate, I do not envy you Arsenal fans right now, because I've been in this position for the last 4 seasons, lad, and coming against this machine of Man City, mate, is not easy, and they will fight until the very last minute of the very last game. Seen it last season with Liverpool. They were losing 2-0 in the 65th minute, and they still won 3-2, lad. So your team now, lad, they have to keep their nerve and their calm, because this is going to be somewhere they've never been. They don't know what it's going to be like, this pressure. But they got through it today. They really did, because you should have lost, lad. You really should have lost.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, the thing is, what you're saying is on balance of play. I've spoken to AGT. I know that you play football. I also play football. And it's just about goals at the end of the day. You don't have to, I'm not going to say the mark of champions because you just drew, but you don't necessarily have to play well. Listen, I'm an Arsenal fan. I can point to 100 games where we've dominated shots and we've dominated possession and we've done all the flicks and tricks and all the fancy stuff, but the other team got the goal. And that's what it comes down to. So I don't really believe in anything about, I don't believe there is such a thing as deserve in football. You put the ball in the net and you're not offside, there's no fouls.
You get what you deserve.
You get what you deserve. That's the nature of the game. And so while I understand what you're saying, it's tender, it's just happened. But I do think that, both teams ultimately deserve a draw, because you can't just look at statistics and go by that. And so, when we're so capable. We've got
penalty miss.
I know. We had the Jesus miss. We had the Jesus. We had the Jesus one back post.
And we watching Match of the Day tonight, lad. It's horrible, isn't it? It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they can tell me that I don't already know. Really, that's the problem. So, yeah. I mean, from obviously, how good your team is. Do you look at that like a bit of a bottling job from Arsenal, or do you just think it's great mentality from Liverpool to come back?
That's not a bottle job from Arsenal. I have seen you come to our ground and get demolished. That first 25 minutes, 30 minutes from you guys was insane. We couldn't breathe, mate. You absolutely played us off the park. Our ground was silent. All I could hear was Arsenal fans. Like I said, it was just that pivotal moment with Granit Xhaka that seemed to wake the fans up. I don't know what it was, but that seemed to pick them up. So, Anfield, can you continue to do that for the rest of being there, please? Because we need that every game now. I can't see us getting top 4 or nothing, but you just haven't bottled that, mate. Any other fans, neutral fans, you're welcome, okay? On behalf of both of us, you're very much welcome. Imagine being a neutral fan and watching that game.
My phone is just vibrating off the table. It was like it was trying to escape. It was ridiculous.
Lucky buggers, okay? Because we had to sit through absolute stress and anxiety with that game as well. It was horrible.
He came in and jinxed it as well. We were like, they're going to score it. He came in and goes, nah, you got it, lads, you got it. And then 2 seconds later, they went and scored.
And I didn't celebrate in front of them because I'm respectful. I ran downstairs, celebrated, and then come back upstairs like a gentleman, okay?
One of the only positive spins I can put on, it's not a positive spin because we're still in this season isn't finished, but I think that this team isn't the final form of this team. That Granit Xhaka moment shows it, that there are a level or two levels that we can go up with recruitment and with mentality. And so no matter what happens this season, hopefully we win it. We should win it. We deserve to win it, even though there's no such thing as deserve. But even if we do win it, I think that there's another level that we can go.
I agree.
I think there's another level we can go next season.
I'm not joking, right? Sorry to bring this back to Liverpool, but you remind me of when Liverpool first started to become good again.
I know what you mean.
Exciting, electric, intense, can't breathe, can't move. They've scored 2 goals already. What's happened? That type of football is just, it's chaos, but it's wonderful to watch as well. And you seem to be able to control it. So I don't doubt in my mind for 1 second that Arsenal will go into the summer window, whether or not you win it or not, with Champions League football, and you will attract some fantastic talent and you will strengthen as a result. I have no doubt about that whatsoever.
For sure.
Players now are going to be looking at Arsenal going, I want to go there. I want to feel that energy. And same with like Newcastle as well, but Arsenal right now, these are the team that people want to play for, mate. I have no doubt about it. Next season you will strengthen, so will Newcastle, and you will be a force to reckon with. I just hope that Liverpool are able to keep up with the rest of us, because we're not City. We don't have the money like City, but let's see if we can do it, because...
Let's. I'm going to have a look at some of the comments, because... I think people all the stuff that you should say. Nick, you should lose. I don't play football, so I'm not sure. Saka is a flop. I'm not sure about that at all.
No one's a flop here. That was just a fantastic game of football from both teams. That's what that was. Nobody flapped, nothing.
VA Arsenal just parked the bus. Overrated team, bang average.
No.
I mean, we're bang average, we're top of the table. What does that say about the league?
No, it's not true. I mean, I would say this, not to jump on your back.
No, go ahead.
Last season, at this point, Liverpool were on 78 points, 75 points, and we were still second, mate.
Yeah.
And that is gut-wrenching for me as a Liverpool fan, because that's some of the best football I'll probably ever see us play, and we didn't get the trophies that we deserve out of it. So to see you top the league right now after 30 games with 73 points and be top is a little bit painful for me, can't lie. But that's testament to your mentality, that you can only play who's in front of you, and that's the problem, guys. They're not flapping anything. They're playing everybody that's in front of them, and the table does not lie. They are first for a reason, and it's not because I like Arsenal. I don't really care about them, to be quite honest with you. It's just facts, lad, and you've got to accept it. It's football. That's the way it goes. Like, my team is crap right now. You know what I mean?
That's what it is. I mean, who is the best player for you on your, I know
in our team right now?
Because you spoke about the change being Xhaka, that moment, but then who stepped it up for you? Because
in our team.
Yeah, in your team.
In this game, right, I've got to think Trent started to do some wandering, right, and me and my mates Shadi and Paul, we were talking about this in our little group chat that we've got, right. When Trent wanders to that right-hand side, quite central right, like a sort of right mid, like a David Beckham, that's when he shines, because he doesn't have to cover himself when it comes to tackling.
That's exactly what I was going to say to you. When you came in, you said Trent should be a right midfielder, and I was going to say, like an old school.
Old school, though,
because before these pushed-up wingers, we had like Robert Pires, who had the technical ability to be a midfielder, but had some
defender,
up and down, but wasn't a defender.
No,
and could get up and down, had a great delivery. And I think you're right. Trent's maybe a bit better up the pitch.
Seen it, lad? I mean, Zinchenko, no disrespect, I actually really like Zinchenko. I think he's a great footballer. He's a winner. He's passionate. He loves your team. I really respect the man. But what Trent did to him, lad, was naughty, bro.
Especially because it ended in the assist. Like we've got Martinelli and Saka who nutmeg guys or do skills and beat man for fun, but don't quite have that end product consistently. And the thing is with Trent, he's such a polarizing character in football because his highs are very high, but then his lows are very low. You've got the famous Barcelona Trent taken quickly corner, and then you've got some real howlers.
And then Vinicius Junior fucking tearing them everywhere.
Exactly. Even Martinelli has a pretty good track record up against Trent as well. So would you really genuinely like to see him move further up the pitch?
I think so. Yeah. I think I'd like to see him in right mid, get a solid right back that knows how to tackle properly, and just let him stay there. It's like I said, Liverpool are going to need a whole reshuffle, and that means maybe changing formation. That means changing style. I don't know. Klopp's the man I trust to do that, but there is going to have to be some major changes. Just the same way that when we rebuilt in the first time, unfortunately, you'd have to be a bit ruthless, lad. That's just what has to happen. We got rid of Coutinho. Remember Coutinho? Supposed to be our best player. We got rid of him for 140, and we built from that. So that's what Liverpool need to do now. I'd love to see Trent go up into a right midfield position where he can just do the stuff that he's got. He's got a wonderful variety of passing. He's got good vision. He reads the game well. He's got a good map of the pitch in his brain. He's a phenomenal player. But he just doesn't put himself in glory, because even Martinelli today had him a bit on toast, lad, to be quite honest. So did Saka with Robbo, though. Your wingers, you got to understand, right? You can't have it either way. Either Trent's bad at defending, or this winger's world class. There's one or the other. Martinelli is wonderful dribbler of the ball, and he will do most fullbacks. It's just because Trent's in the limelight that he's picked out as the worst defender. And I get it. I see his game. I watch him every week. He's not the best defender in the world, but everything else that he offers in the pitch excels. It's beyond average. It's insane. So you've got to give him his credit that if you put him somewhere else, I think he'll do a job. But today, man of the match for us, lad. Who's man of the match for us, lad? Who can I say for us? I can't say Salah, can I?
You can if you want to.
No, thank you. I still love you, Salah, so much. I love you. I think, who can I put it on? Cody Gakpo. I think he's been brilliant for us to do. I think he carries the ball. He's that unsung hero of, how to explain it? Doesn't necessarily, he's like the Bobby type of character. That's what I feel like. Having said that, Bobby come on and scored the equaliser again against Arsenal. He does it every single time.
We just didn't adjust enough. Like we could see that once Trent started roaming towards the end, every cross was back post, back post, back post, and we just never really adjusted and addressed it, which is super disappointing given that we went to a back five. We had 5 defenders on the pitch. And Ben White, who's normally pretty good in the air, just doesn't get there. And Firmino, Jota. Once Jota went off, because they're the two that always score against us. Once Jota went off, I thought, actually, yes, this could be our day, because Jota's gone, and then Firmino comes on. You think, oh, for God's sake, honestly.
He did.
It is frustrating. I think for you guys, maybe Konate, because I could see Martinelli getting past Trent 9 times out of 10 and looking quite comfortable. But even when he got past Trent, he ran straight into Konate, and then that was a problem. And Konate hit Xhaka with that absolute peach of a challenge.
Yeah.
Real throwback,
Wonderful
old school. Real old school challenge.
It was one of them, because there was a tackle earlier in the game where Ben White got a yellow card for, and there was, I don't think he should have got a yellow, but it was a foul for me because he won the ball, but then he cleared the man with his following leg, so it's off the ball contact.
Yeah.
Whereas that one was, I got the whole ball and the fella came with me over the top of me because I got the whole ball.
Yeah.
For you, who's your man of the match? So for me, I'll tell you who I think played well for Arsenal. Gabriel, oh my God, against Salah, lad, shut him down. It was insane, some of the challenges he was making. But then the one who just topped it, Martinelli as well, good mention, because wow, what a footballer. Ramsdale, lad. He absolutely saved that game for you.
I mean, Martinelli gets the goal and the assist, so obviously he's always going to be quite up there. And I think on Twitter and stuff, they're voting him man of the match before the last sort of 20 minutes. Gabriel was consistent all the way through, really, really solid. He's been consistent all season and playing with different centre-back partners depending on injuries and stuff like that, and he's just always there. And we've brought in Kivior to be cover for him, and Kivior doesn't look great when he's come on, so it's even more responsibility on him.
Yeah.
When he thought maybe I'll get a bit of a rest, actually, you can't really rest
because you've got to cover this fella.
You've got to cover this fella now.
Yeah.
But Ramsdale at the end, 100%, it's... that's what gets us the point. That's what keeps them. And that point, isn't dramatic in terms of the table, but it helps in terms of goal difference because we don't drop goal difference, and it also helps with the mentality, like I say, to know that we can go to big grounds and not necessarily get turned over. Because the way I feel at the moment, if I could get a point from the Etihad, call me whatever you want in the comments. But am I crazy for saying, what? In this title race, I'd take a point from City, and then we just keep. What are we? 5 points ahead. We keep 4 points ahead, and we just keep rolling and play everybody else.
That can win you the Champions League. That can win you the Premier League.
I wish it would win the
imagine
Champions
that.
League,
I shouldn't have said that. But that can win you the Premier League without a doubt. Why not get a draw at City?
Yeah.
Keeps them away from you still. You drop points, they drop points, but you're still fighting at the top. So
yeah.
I don't think that's bizarre to say whatsoever.
And City is still in the Champions League. They have a lot more fixtures than us. We have more rest. So yeah, I mean, I still feel confident. I do feel like we should win the Premier League from here with only 8 games to go with the momentum that we've got.
Tight though, lad, it is, because if they win their game in hand now, 3 points. And also, I just want to say, sorry, neutrals, you're welcome, because now we've made the title chase even more exciting. Not for us, because we're not getting in this season, but we've made your last bit of the season enjoyable. Thank you.
Yeah, I think
sorry, lad.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No. Enjoy it. This is, you're drawing against top of the league. You feel like this is your version of it. This close you're going to get to being like a top 14. You know what I mean? So enjoy it for what it is.
We've won 6 Champions Leagues.
But no, this is football. If we go there and we get more goals and Gabby Jesus finishes his chance, there you go. And if Salah finishes his, then either team can score. And like I say,
a great game of football.
100%. It had everything. It had absolutely everything
for the Premier League. That was
even controversy and ref decisions and missed penalties, and it had a bit of everything. So I don't think that there's much more that we can say on that. Really.
Do you know what? Having said that, I genuinely can't believe there wasn't a red card in that game. To be honest,
I think they definitely held back a bit because I think a red card was pending.
That detrimental as well.
Yeah,
if someone
at half time, 3 of your back 4 had yellow cards.
I know.
And I thought surely we get one of these sent off.
Exactly what I thought. I thought Xhaka would get sent off as well because he got a yellow.
Yeah.
But that testament to him. That's the type of transition and progression he's made. Yeah. That is growth. Because 2 seasons ago he's getting sent off. He definitely is. But this season he sort of kept himself back and he didn't play a bad game. He just that one yellow card, mate. To be honest with you.
100%. I mean, I'll start to wrap up and say my final thoughts are this doesn't really change much from where we were before the game. There were 2 teams that over the last 5, yes, Liverpool are not as great at the moment, but for the last 4 or 5 years, there have been 2 teams that have been the absolute top creme de la creme of the Premier League, and that's Liverpool and Manchester City. And if we can get a point from either of them or both of them, we did beat Liverpool earlier, which is great for us in the season. If we can get a point from both of them at their grounds and beat everybody else, that is Premier League winning material. You don't actually have to win every game. Only one team's ever won every game and won the Premier League, and that was us anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not a huge. It's not a huge hammer blow to our title chances, and I think we're broadly in the same position that we were before. What are your final thoughts while I read the super chat? Go ahead.
I'm sorry that I'm going to disagree with you. I think this has changed everything for the title run, and the reason why I think that is I've watched my team be there and experience this right now.
That's the difference between us, isn't it? You've been there.
When City smell blood, honestly, that's terrifying. Yeah. There was a season where Liverpool and City had 15 games left to play, and we both, there was 1 point in it, we were second, and they had to win all 15, and so did we. And do you know what happened? City won all 15. And remember that company goal where he's like, "Don't shoot, Vinny, don't shoot," and he scores against Leicester, wins it. That's what City do.
Yep.
So for me now, it's scary for you guys. It is. I don't know. I can't predict this anymore. You're going to have to tell us, do you think Arsenal is still going to win the league? Because I can't tell anymore. After this result, that changes everything for me. City are a machine, and when they smell blood, they keep coming. So for me, it changes everything, and I'm sorry about that, lad.
No, that's fine. If that's your opinion, I think that, we'll read the super chat out. It says, it seems like a defeat from Anthony to 1993. It seems like a defeat, but 4 out of 6 points against Liverpool this season. Fans should take that. Head up. Ramsdale is world class. And that, I absolutely agree. And I think that the thing that keeps me positive is the fact that we've had some really, really high moments that we've got the Reece Nelson goal against Bournemouth. We've got the Saka goal against Man United. Those things give me the confidence that when it comes to those last few games, can we find something? Those players can find a moment. They can find something that will dig us out of that, or just take us that next level. So that's the confidence I have to sort of put into the universe and try and manifest it. Really, more hope than anything. So I appreciate it. I'm feeling the love and the support. Am I right? Am I right?
I do not like City, lads.
I was going to say, am I right in thinking that you would choose Arsenal to win the league if you had to pick?
At the start of the season, I would have said no, but a lot of Arsenal fans have been respectful to me and treated me nicely. Okay, so I don't really see many Man City fans, and the only ones that I have given me so much stick. It's unbelievable.
They are terrible people.
Having said that, come on, Arsenal, win the league, beat them.
Perfect. So we are in agreement that Arsenal's going to win the Premier League, or that at least we both want them to.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments what you think about who's going to win the Premier League, or who you want to win the Premier League, or how you see it panning out. But I think that's all we've got time for. We can wrap up from there. Thanks for joining us for the post-game live. I'm Nick, and this is Doyle. Cheers for joining me, brother.
Thank you for having me, lads.
All the best.